You guys, I'm going to show you a quick lunch idea that goes really well with spring, but it's also really super practical when you've got a lot of vegetables in the fridge that you need to use, and you don't really know how to use them, and you don't want to make a stir fry, and you don't want to have a salad. I make blanched salads quite a bit, okay? Especially in spring when you've got veggies like asparagus, where eating them raw is not like me. You could shave them and put them into a salad, but it's also wonderful when you just blanch them. And blanched salads are really easy to digest as opposed to raw salads. So there you go. That's what I like to do. So oftentimes what I've been doing lately is blanching, a few like asparagus. Today I'm doing asparagus, green beans, and I've got these scallions, okay? And I'm going to do this blanched salad, and I'll serve it with a mustard olive oil emulsion. Sprinkled with a bit of hard-boiled egg on top, okay? Super, super easy, but very nutritious, very much in season, and it's also very adaptable because you can use any kind of veg that can be blanched, right? You could use broccoli, you could use cauliflower, peas, snow peas, all sorts of things, leeks. And you know how I first got into blanching this year was when I was making I have this green veggie matcha curry that's in my ebook, and to make that curry, it's a vegetarian one, and it turns green thanks to the matcha, but the matcha is actually not it doesn't overpower the taste at all. It's really, really nice. But to make that recipe, I blanched the vegetables first. And there's like leeks and like all sorts of things, right? And broccoli and everything. And I blanched, and when I first tested that recipe like many times, because I wanted to get the quantities right for the book, I just kind of fell in love with blanching again. I was like, oh my gosh, what a great way to enjoy vegetables without having to do the raw salad thing when you're not in the mood for that. Okay, so here goes. Blanching, there's nothing easier than just getting a big pot of water to boil. And then you kind of have to put the veggies in the order required in terms of cooking time. So I know that for like green beans take a bit longer than asparagus. So I put these in first. Let me add a bit of this sea salt. There you go. The asparagus, I'm just going to leave here in the water for now. So with asparagus, I don't know if I've showed this in a past episode or not, but what I do is, like, depending on the asparagus, there's different varieties, and sometimes they're very fibrous at the bottom, and sometimes they're not. So how do you know how much to cut? What I do is I just crunch into one, and see, this was very delicious to crunch into, and there's like no strings, right? So I just cut a little bit, just the little dry tips, so I don't waste, yeah? And then you can tell, even if you don't crunch it, you can usually tell by cutting them, you'll feel under the knife if it's a struggle or not. You know what I mean? Like, some of these I can tell are more fibrous. When you find that you've got a lot of fibers in the asparagus, then you just peel them. Where is my vegetable peeler? I should prepare these things before I start. I know, right? I don't know where it is, but anyways, it doesn't matter. You would need to take a vegetable peeler and peel this bottom part off. Okay, that's what I would do if I was struggling with fibers in the asparagus. Okay, this is a cheap one that I don't really like, but yeah, there was one here. You see, I just kind of peel like that. And then I do the rest. Super simple. Another one that's great to blanch, but you kind of have to do it separately from the other ones because it really colors the water, is artichoke. I have a video on artichokes and how I deal with artichokes, right? Because a lot of people were asking me like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with artichokes. How do you, I feel like I'm taking out all the leaves when I make it. I take out all the leaves and then clean them. I'm talking about the small ones. And then I blanch them. Probably blanching, maybe not blanching. I leave it a bit longer because blanching is just like put them in, put them out, take them out. But here for the artichoke one, go check out my video. I leave them in for a bit longer and then I strain them and serve them up. So there you go. So my asparagus, I'm going to cut into pieces. You can like cut into bite-sized pieces or just into like 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you want. And what's nice sometimes is if you feel like you don't want to like show these little bits because they're ugly, if you're serving this up, keep those little bits because they're nice, freeze them, and the next time you make like a cream of whatever, green soup, use them. Because it's great. Asparagus is super good for you. It's super healthy, really good for the liver, really good for the blood, all these benefits. And yeah, and the other thing with asparagus is if you are like me here now in France and they're like everywhere, they're literally everywhere. At the beginning of the season, they were very expensive and you just found them here and there. And then now it's like really cheap and you get like 2 for 1, and you feel like I'm buying so much asparagus lately, but my husband eats everything I make, but even he is like, I don't really feel like having asparagus again. So what I do is I freeze them. But here's the thing, when you freeze asparagus, the best thing to do is to first blanch the asparagus, so cook it for a minute or 2, strain it, and then let it cool, put it in cold water, and then drain them, and then you freeze them. Put them in a really well sealed package, and you do that, okay? And then you freeze them, because by doing so, you are going to they're going to keep that nice green kind of color that you want them to retain, okay? So now I will add, I'm not going to take the green beans out, I'm just going to add the asparagus, okay? Because green beans, this is the thing, I'm not a big fan of having crunchy green beans, so I'm just touching them to make sure. I like it when there's a little bite, but I don't want to have to chew it a lot. That's not pleasant to me. Because the idea of this blanched salad is to have something that's easy to bite into, and you're having a plate of it, right? You don't want something that's going to be crunchy and that's going to be just hard to digest and stuff. So forget that. Now, scallions. Now, those of you who know me know that when it comes to oniony stuff that is raw, I have a hard time dealing with it. So I had gotten these for my soba noodle class that I did on Zoom the other day, but I didn't because I add them at the end for decoration, but when it comes to just me, I know they're very tasty, but I just can't deal with raw onion of any family of onion, okay, including scallions. So what I do is I blanch these. Once they're cooked, they go down easy, and it gives a nice taste to the rest of the cooking water. So I'm gonna add these in here. Another great veggie to blanch is leek. Okay, leek is so good. In fact, I have this recipe for poireau vinaigrette. In France, what they do is that they will. This is more than blanching. They're actually going to boil the leek, or they can steam the leek until it's very soft, and they usually take the younger leeks, like they're usually smaller, but you could do it with big ones. And then when they're really well cooked, and I'm talking like, 15 minutes kind of well cooked, not, they need to be really soft. Then you let them cool slightly, you drain them, let them cool slightly, and then you add a vinaigrette that looks a lot like the one I'm about to prepare. So let me show you my vinaigrette. Okay, let me just make sure that this is moving along nicely. Okay, this is good. Vinaigrette. So I've got two kinds of mustard. I've got the grainy type, which is mild, tasty, it has texture. I quite like it. And then I've got the Dijon mustard. This is the Maille brand. It's this one. You can find this kind of everywhere. But what I like about this one is that it's not too strong, because I don't want to use like a really hot mustard. It needs to be kind of mellow. Because you use quite a bit of it, all right? So I'm gonna use a mixture of both for fun. If you wanted to, you could also use flavored mustards. Like I've got some herb mustards and tarragon mustards and whatever, that would go well with this. So these asparagus are looking mighty fine. See, because asparagus really don't take very long. Okay, there we go. And then these scallions, like I'm telling you, I can't deal, so I'm gonna have to cook these for longer than expected. And you let cool water, let them run in cool water, like put cool water on the vegetables so that they stop cooking, because you want them to remain green. Okay, let me get a lemon actually, because adding a bit of lemon juice to them once they're quite cool will keep the chlorophyll in. It keeps them green, Okay, so let me toss these real well under the water. And mix it all well. Okay? So, there we go. And then I'm going to put a squeeze of lemon like this. Let me just show you what it's looking like right now. Let me take this really quick. You see, so they're very kind of brightish green, okay, but they're cooked. So this is, you can hear the crunch. Can you hear the crunch? Look, listen. You heard a little crunch, but it's not mushy, right? These asparagus, I probably cooked them 30 seconds too much. It only needs like really a minute and a half, 2 minutes max. There you go. But that's fine. I mean, really, it's fine. So I leave those over here. I'm gonna continue cooking these scallions, and I'm gonna prepare the vinaigrette. Okay, so the vinaigrette, let me see here. I'm going to get a transparent bowl so you see what I'm doing. I think many of you may know this recipe already. Like the emulsion, the mustard olive oil emulsion is magic, okay? So I put some mustard. This is the smooth one, and this is the grainy one. I'm gonna put a bit of both. It seems like quite a bit of mustard, right? Because I've put like 2 big spoonfuls of them. But don't worry. I'm gonna also add a lot of olive oil to mellow it up. And you add the olive oil very gradually, okay? This is such a classic French kind of thing, to emulsify the mustard with the olive oil. And you're gonna see that it becomes like this very creamy, smooth mixture, okay? Like almost like a mayonnaise. Okay, and it becomes so creamy. It's wonderful. It's just magical. Okay, you see how creamy this is? See that? It's like, it's very creamy. And you can keep adding oil. Don't be afraid. Because if you're having this for lunch, honestly, if you don't put a bit of oil and you don't put a bit of egg and whatever, you're going to be really hungry after, right? This is lunch. Make it, you know, consistent. That's my theory anyway. Unless you're on some kind of cleanse or something, which I'm never on. But when you're having something light like this, it's nice to, like, don't be afraid to dress it up. And if you're not into eggs, like if you don't want to add an egg in here, top your vegetables with seeds, like with pumpkin seeds, or, you know, with pine nuts or walnuts, or, you know, depending on the vegetable. You will feel inspired. Always have a bunch of nuts. I find nuts and seeds, it's like one of those things. You see all of these jars, you see all of these. Let me show you all of my wonderful, you know, I've got the almonds, I mean the walnuts, pecans, the apricots, the hazelnuts, the figs, the pepitas, the dates, you know what I'm saying? Like, get all of these. I've got jars of them, and once you get used to having them and you start using them, then you start discerning, like, oh, walnuts go really well with like mustard and apple, and, you know, certain like radicchio, like there's certain things it goes well with, like, and then you test, like, oh, this would be pretty with pepitas, or which are the pumpkin seeds, or, you know, the more you do this, the better you get at it. So try with a few, right? Okay, so now to this, what I'm going to add to give it a little bit of flavor, let me dry this parsley, okay. Did you know, a little hack while I'm at it, when you want to dry something really quickly, like lettuce, ever been in like a place where you're like, oh my god, they don't have a salad spinner and I have to dry the lettuce and what am I going to do and whatever. Put all the lettuce out, clean it, put it all out, same with the herbs, put it all out, lay it out in a dishcloth that's clean, obviously, and then you roll and you roll as if you're like, I don't know, rolling like dough or something, right? And then pat it dry, pat it down, and then undo. And then you do it again and repeat a couple of times, and then you get dry herbs and lettuce. I mean, it takes a bit longer if you've got like a big salad to make or something, but in this case, very, very quick. I was too lazy to put these in the spinner. So I've got a little bunch of celery, like honestly, maybe half a cup, third cup, not even, yeah, third cup, I'd say. And I use parsley. You can use chervil. You can, again, depending on the vegetables you've got, you may be inspired to use some basil or some dill or whatever. But in this case, I feel like parsley goes really well. So I'm just going to chop this up a little bit more. Oops. Okay. And then I throw these in here. It seems like a lot. It seems like I've got as much herbs as I've got like of the dressing, but if you mix it really well, you'll see it's so nice. This is amazing, guys. This is like so good. And if you want, you see this, right? And if you want to add a little bit more acidity, which I kind of do, and I should have probably added it before I added the rest of it, of the herbs, is add vinegar. So here I've got some, it's a walnut vinegar. So it's kind of like a cider vinegar with some walnut in it or something. Oh no, it's a white wine vinegar with a bit of walnut essence. So I'll put that in there, but red wine vinegar is what I would usually use, or cider vinegar. See, you've got something that's a little bit more liquid, all right? Now, what you're gonna do to dress this beautiful plate up, I'm gonna take a white plate, okay? I'm gonna put a bit of these vegetables on here, all right, like this. See that? Pretty. The egg. I'm going to peel this. It's already hard boiled. And when it comes to the blanched salad thing, with this dressing, I like to hard boil the egg. Some people like to hard boil and even separate the white from the yolk, and then they crumble they cut up the white into small pieces, they crumble the yolk, and they make something really pretty on top of the dressing. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to chop it up. And when they do that, when they crumble it, and it looks like a little snow of cooked egg white and yolk, they call it mimosa, eggs mimosa, like the champagne orange drink, except it's eggs. There we go. So I cut these up. There. Put this on top. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. You see that? And then a little bit of this, right? A little bit more drizzle, you know, up. There we go. It's so pretty. I love this. And there you have it. And you serve that up for lunch with a bit of crusty bread to mop up the dressing. You see how pretty that is? Don't you love this? I love this. This is the sort of lunch I love. So that is it for me. This is a very long video, but I just wanted to kind of, you know, show you what I do for lunch sometimes. And this is a really good one. And you can do this with so many different vegetables. Just test, try, taste, redo, use what you've got, you know, be flexible as much as you can. And you will always come up with something delicious. All right, have a good one, everybody. I will see you soon. If you want more inspiration, go to wellmamma.com for more recipes. And if you've got comments, leave them in the comments section. And if you like this video, like it and share it with your friends. Bye.